In this lesson, we'll use splines to create the windshield. So we're going to again use splines to create this windshield, but we're going to actually extract the spline this time from geometry that we already have. So in this case, we'll use the roof. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our Modify panel, and let's make an edge selection. Okay, and I'm going to start over from basically this side, and let's use one of these edges right down here. Just hit Q to go to selection, and I just want to select that loop kind of all the way across there and all the way to the other side. Now we can actually turn this edge selection into a spline just by going down to our Edit Edges Rollout, Create Shape from Selection, and we'll call this, we can call it whatever we want, and make it a smooth shape. So now we actually have a shape in there that we can select. If we turn on our filter right in here, just to shapes, we can now select this. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Hierarchy panel, say Effect Pivot, and center that pivot. And you can see our spline right there. Let's go ahead and scale this out just a little bit so that it just penetrates into the side there. And if you need to, you can come in and grab those vertices right on the side and just move those down just slightly if you want to do that. Just something like that. All right. So now what we want to do is duplicate this and kind of move it down to where the bottom of the windshield will be. So let's go to the side view and do this. So we'll take this windshield, hold down Shift, and we'll just duplicate this over, make that a copy, and we'll pull it down. And now if we look at it from the top, and kind of reset this top view here, we want to kind of scale this out. Okay, so it encompasses the entire area, and we also want to shape this a bit to kind of better match up what we've got here. So we'll go ahead and take these points, and let's just go to a View, Reference Coordinate, and we'll go ahead and kind of just bring these out, and we'll just shape these. And some of these we'll have to go ahead and modify a little bit. So we'll kind of curve that in. Same thing with this guy. And we'll pull those back. And then these guys will kind of pull in. And let's kind of move in here and rotate these guys around. Okay, same thing over here. Kind of rotate this and move it. So we're just kind of creating this bottom part of the windshield here. All right. And so you end up with something like that. Okay. Now we want to make sure that it's kind of down underneath here as well. So you can see right here, it's not quite down far enough. So we'll go ahead and kind of push that down inside there as much as we can. Now we also need a couple in the middle, let's say. So I'm going to go ahead and again grab that original spline, and we want to make sure we're in that top level mode there. I want to grab the original spline and again make another duplicate of it. Cancel that. Make another duplicate of it, and let's do this a couple of times. So we'll go ahead and make a copy here. Okay, and this one will drag down there, and then one more time as well. And this one will kind of put right in here. Now you can see that they're not nearly where they should be. So we need to go ahead and just scale that out till it intersects with this line right in here. Same thing over on this side. Okay. And so you get something along those lines. And we can start to take some of these points out just a little bit. So I'll kind of grab these and just move them out a little. Okay. And same thing up here with this guy. Kind of move this back and just smooth everything out just a little bit. Grab everything and just kind of smooth it out. And then when you get these, so we've got these 4 splines here. Let's go ahead and attach these into one. Okay, so we'll go ahead and say, I'll grab the first one, say attach, and then I'll click all these splines and attach those. So now when we grab this editable spline, you can see we've got all of them, and we can grab them by spline. Okay? So the next thing that we want to do is create geometry that goes across this, and we can do this using a cross-section modifier. And these are part of what's referred to as the surface tools. We can go ahead and grab our cross-section right in here, and you can see how that adds a cross-section. There's still no geometry really there, but we can also add a surface modifier on top of this. So if we now add a surface modifier, we can flip the normals around. You can see that that gives us our geometry. Okay, we can now go back into our editable spline, turn on this show end result, and we can select these vertices and just kind of smooth everything out. So let's say we want to come in, and you can see there's a little bit of an issue here. We can come into these points on these splines and start to just smooth all these things out. Okay, and you can see the result of that on your actual geometry. Okay, so let's say I want to grab this whole thing and kind of pull this out. Okay, and then I'll deselect these end ones and just make kind of more of a soft transition here than what we had. You can certainly do that. You can see how that surface updates, and that's all in the stack. You can take that, remove those modifiers if you want to, if you don't like what's happening, and so on. Okay. If you want to set all of your points in here to be smooth rather than Bezier, we can choose just to make those smooth points, and we don't have to worry about those Bezier handles. Okay. And then if you want to, you can collapse the stack or do whatever you want to with that. And make sure you turn this back on if you want to select it. I'm going to go back down and just grab these guys, scale them out just a little bit, and bring them back down just a little. And so you can really kind of come in and tweak this however you want to, make it penetrate into the roof there. And there you go. So it's just one way that you can create a kind of a panel like that using geometry that we found or we were able to duplicate, extract a spline from this roof geometry. Okay? All right, so in the next lesson, we're going to do kind of the same thing, but it's going to be a little bit different because we're going to actually convert these into curves, and we'll use some NURBS to create that. So let's go ahead and jump into that in the next lesson.